And welcome to this week's episode of Shift Happens. Today is very exciting for me and I know for Kerry. We're talking to John and Sue, who are mediums and also run development workshops. So let's get into it. Let's start talking. So, welcome. John, welcome. And Sue, welcome. Thank you very much for coming and talking to us today.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So, are you happy, John? You said a few minutes ago that you've been in the business. You've been the middleman, as you said, for 30 years. So, how did your journey start?
Well, it's a difficult question, that, because I could answer it about 3 or 4 different ways. But I'll go for the... when I was a child, as many people, you have spiritual happenings, shall I say, that you don't necessarily think of in the way that you do when you're older, because they're ghosts and what have you. Yeah. And I just used to know things. I knew once when we were going to win. When I was a child, I knew when we was going to win the raffle. Ooh. Things like that. It's only because I wanted the prize. Maybe I manifested it without knowing. But and then later on in life, you lose people to the spirit world, and then the need becomes more, and you start asking questions, and then whenever you ask questions spiritually, I believe that the answers come spiritually. And so you're kind of put in the right place on your path, and it all seems to work. Because me and my wife at the time, my wife was very spiritual, but again, had done nothing with it. And we ran a chain of video shops in this area, actually. And a guy who was a member, and he was a good customer, just walked in once, and he was a tall guy with dreadlocks, and he was white, which is unusual with dreadlocks. Yeah. And he walked in, he said, "I believe you've got a job. You need to hire somebody." And at the time, my wife was just writing out the thing to put it on, and he said, "I've been told to come." Oh. And he actually joined us, and he used to do shamanic Native American at the time. Wow, yeah. And he started to teach me and my wife that. Yeah. And after a bit, he says, "Well, we're doing Native American, but it's not what you should be doing." And he pointed us to the spiritualist churches. And I drove past them many a time, didn't even know they were there. Oh. And that's where we started. We went to the spiritualist churches after doing quite a lot of sitting in shamanic circles. Yeah. And then we started doing traditional spiritual circles, and before long we was on the rostrum working the churches, and me and my wife worked the churches up and down the Midlands. Yeah. My wife unfortunately had a stroke, and she used to do it in a wheelchair.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it started from there, and it's just snowballed, and it's become, for the last 20 odd years, become my only source of income. So I became professional.
Yeah, wow, so very good. I like that. That's brilliant. So, do you hear spirit? Do you? I know there's lots of different
clairs,
isn't there? Yeah, lots of different clairs, and I want to talk about those. In the future. But at what point did you think, oh, I'm in connection with something other than our 3D reality? Let's call it that. At what point did that happen, do you think?
What? Technically, I think I always knew, because as an only child, and I never felt alone. I'd always felt like I could entertain myself, because I always felt like I was with others.
Did you have friends? They say, don't they? Lots of children have their imaginary friends, but are they imaginary?
Of course they're not.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So yes, that's true. I did. Yeah. So, but once I started delving into it properly, and getting involved with people who were working as mediums and what have you, and listening to them and learning from them, then I realised that I could do all these things. And I have heard spirit. I heard my mum very clearly the one day.
Did you?
And not long after she passed. And I do hear, and I also see, I also do the woman's intuition bit you was talking about, which is the sensing.
Yes.
Which I call man's intuition, by the way.
Yeah. Of course.
I've changed it. But nowadays it's more like they kind of take me over. And I just talk for me. I have to tell people sometimes it's not me because I forget.
Wow.
So how do you switch that off? Because is it constant? Do you have to put boundaries in place for sort of spirits that come in and want to connect?
It's what we call grounding, switching it off. And my best way of grounding is actually Sue.
Because he's not himself. When he finishes work, he's not him. And it takes him about half an hour to come back to being him.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Sue normally gets me back by saying, "Can you go and empty the bins?
Put the bins out into the dishwasher.
Get back to grounding. Get back to normal life."
Yeah. So, Sue, what about a little bit about your background as well? Because you're a medium.
I
now
am.
as well.
I don't work as a working medium in the way that John does. I facilitate the space with John when we run circles and workshops and retreats. But my background was very different. I'm the eldest of 4, grew up in the countryside, and I've always just felt very connected to nature. That's sort of my background. But as a child, I had friends.
Yes.
Yeah. And my younger brother did. His friend was quite unusual. He was called Mr. Vinegar.
Oh, wow.
And we used to set a place at the table for Mr. Vinegar. And apparently he lived just outside under the veranda.
Oh, wow.
But then when I met John, it was, we met online. Our lives wouldn't have crossed. I had a cafe at the time. And I didn't realise that was my introduction into helping people in a completely different way.
Yeah.
The amount of lonely people. I am so fortunate, having grown up in a big family with friends, never to have been lonely. And I wanted the cafe, it was only very small, I wanted it to be a friendly space where people could come in and have a cup of tea and a chat.
Women a lot of the time.
And there were a lot of ladies that used to do that, and then I met John, and because I had the cafe, it was a space where he could hold his development circle, spiritual development circle. And at first I used to go and make the tea because I thought, I was very impressed by what John could do because I'd been to mediums myself in the past. And although I'd always had a knowing, it was nothing like the level that John worked on. So I thought, oh no, I can't do that, so I'm not going to, which has really made me do a complete circle now because I think everybody should. Because we all can. We all have something. When going back so long, when we were all tribal.
Absolutely.
We all used to sit round and we used to do it. We used to communicate in that way, with our ancestors. You can't see the night sky now for pollution, can you? Unless you're right out in the country.
That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, it is.
It is completely.
So pulling it back, eventually I did sit in circle. I was drawn one night and I did sit in circle. And from there on in, it just changed. We started running that circle just after we met, which is 16 years ago. We started running the circle.
16 years.
And it's ebbed
wonderful, isn't it?
It's ebbed and flowed over the years. We've had several venues.
Yeah.
We've still got a couple of people that came back in the day.
Wow.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Some of them are working mediums now.
Some of them
Are
are.
they? Really?
And that's wonderful because if you do want to go on and do that, that is fabulous.
Yeah.
And at first, I think that is what we thought we were doing. We were getting more good mediums trained.
Yeah.
But as it's all changed, it's just made it about more coming together.
A community,
More
which
community.
I think is everything at the moment, isn't it? That's what we're all about, that unity
Massively.
and community.
Yeah.
So what is a medium?
A medium's the middleman.
Yeah, the middleman.
No, because it's all about energy.
Yes.
And we've all got energy within us because we're controlled by electricity. And we haven't got a battery or a plug or anything. So that comes, to me, that's life force.
Yes.
And that energy, we connect with each other's energy on a daily basis. when we can tell if somebody's not feeling so good, if you're sensitive, without them saying anything. You can tell if somebody's, very often a lot of women are good at predicting other women the fact that they're pregnant, and they often haven't told anybody, because you can pick up that energy. It's like an extra life force within that body. And spirits are no different. It's connected to the energies around us, connecting to because when you pass, energy doesn't get destroyed, so it goes somewhere, and it stays with us at times. They stay with us because why wouldn't you? If you've got children or you've got somebody you love, a partner or whatever, and you pass away, if you've got an opportunity to be with that person, I don't think any of us would pass that up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for you not to.
So this is the thing that's always confused me. Because I believe in energy. Everything is energy. There's no question or dispute about that. I always think, so how can, let's take my grandma. I'm just going to use my grandma, for example. How can my grandma still be here and yet have been incarnated in another life as well?
That's a good one, because so does past lives.
Do you?
I
So
do.
how is it because our souls split? There's parts of our souls or energy imprint, or is it just the energy imprint of grandma's left and her soul's gone on to be somebody else?
I think energy is amazing, and also time. People pass into spirit, and time in spirit doesn't exist.
Yes.
Time is a man-made
Concept,
absolutely. So I think that spirit can stay in your grandmother, can still be your grandmother until there is nobody else on earth that needs to hear from your grandmother. And then she can go on and be whatever she wants. But can we do that at the same time as being your grandmother and go elsewhere? Once we don't think of time as the way we think of it on the earth, it's very different. And I have found that through the past life regression work that I do. Yeah. So they can still be with us. As long as there is somebody here that needs to hear from them, that they have loved, and they don't have to meet them, because we all have a gatekeeper that's there when we're born, that we've not met, that is in spirit. So it's just getting your head around time. Yeah. And that was what, confused me a little bit at first, because I thought, well, you're going to go on and do, we've all got different lives. We're not new souls sat here. We've all had several lives. But how can you do that? And then we can still talk to you. Yes. So I think it's that time.
It is, isn't it? Everything is all happening now.
Yes.
I remember somebody explaining time to me, and it really kind of clicked in. They said, if you asked a tree what time it was, it'd say, what do you mean? It's now.
Yeah.
What's time?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
And I thought, I kind of get that now. What that is.
Well, it's like, I think people are a lot more drawn back to nature again now, aren't we? Moon cycles, the sun, all of that kind of thing. That was how we used to tell the time.
Yes.
As I say, I grew up in the country. My dad never wore a watch. He knew what time it was.
Yes, I did.
And we lose contact with our natural world. And I think spirituality is just going back to who we are.
Absolutely. As above, so below. I really, really, really believe that.
It's not new. Yeah. There is nothing new.
No.
And the older I get, the more I realise there is nothing new. Everything has a cycle.
Yes.
But how wonderful is that? And what is wonderful is how many people are trying to get back to that now.
Yeah.
Don't know quite how to do it.
Exactly. And that's
and don't want to sound nuts.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody can be a medium? I know you've just said that, but literally, because even the most switched off, closed off person, do you feel that everybody has the potential?
Definitely. And it's different. I'm not going to say, I hate the word levels or competition type of thing, but we all do it to whatever way we have to, because there's so many different variations of mediums. You've got healers, just to do the basics. You've got healers, you've got people who give messages, one-to-ones, whether they use cards, whatever they use. You've got people who stand up on platform and do that. You've got people who kind of just know for their everyday. You know, you talk to something that's so worldly wise, and yet they've done nothing. And so often you talk to people and they say, "Oh, my grandmother was always connected, but she never actually said she could do it, but she could always tell us things." And so everybody has got a level of this. It's like everybody can play a guitar, but not everybody can play a tune.
Yeah,
I'm great with a guitar. I couldn't make a tune to save my life, but I can strum it.
Yeah,
Everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Everybody can connect. It's just
it's wanting to as well.
Yeah,
and
it's your time.
Yeah.
I think I came to this later in life because it was my time to understand it more.
Yeah,
And whether or not my ego would have got in the way earlier in my life, I don't know.
Sorry, my ears are going bonkers.
Are they?
Yeah.
So it's like a change of energy just coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
have we got? Yeah. So
You've bought the family.
you have. Have we got?
They'll definitely be. Yeah.
Really?
They want to get on the podcast.
They're going to be interested in what we're saying because it's so important to connect.
Yeah.
But I do think divine timing comes into everything.
Absolutely.
And, you know, like you said, even somebody that is completely cut off, there will be a little chink somewhere that they have a thought.
Well, I think you've hit on the most important thing. It's about connection, isn't it? And if you take away the whole mediumship, it's actually about reconnecting back to yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. And when you start connecting, then all your senses open up, don't they? And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the most important spirit to connect to is your own.
Is your
Absolutely.
own.
And it is the most difficult.
Yes.
Because to look at ourselves and see who we really are, once you take away all the trappings that we judge everybody by, how big that car is, the house, the holidays, it's who we are. And those connections that we need with each other.
Yeah.
And that's what's destroying humanity to some degree, is all this conditioning that's happening when you're a child at school. You're too fat, your hair's not right, you're not up to the latest trends, made to feel as if you don't belong, where really we all belong. And the one that's very often the one that is treated like that at school ends up being the most amazing person, because they often have to fight that little bit harder, and they're the one in later life. I mean, a lot of the famous people, like pop stars and that, their past history, a lot of the times is that they were isolated, and so it forced them and made them want to achieve. I'm not saying we should do that for that reason. I'm saying we should stop doing that. To allow people to achieve in the way that they need to, because we're not seeing each other for who we are. We're not seeing the beauty of each other by putting prejudice in the way. There's too much prejudice, and there's so many variations of prejudice. We should allow people to be people. We do. We've had every kind of person, from every kind of basic upbringing in our circles over the years. I mean, you were saying about, can anybody connect? We've got one particular person that's in the circle at the moment and has been for some time. He's actually a scientist, and he's a top mathematician and physicist, and he creates AI. Funnily enough, he doesn't like doing that because he wants to be spiritual. He wants to work with, but it's what he does. But he went to a convention the other week. And it was an AI convention, and a lot of the people there, he started talking to, mostly from America, and came up about spiritualism, funnily enough, which he does. And so many of them were interested in spiritualism, and so many of them are scientists.
But have felt that they've had to hide that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. A lot of people who are spiritual haven't been in the right space with the right people to be able to talk about it. And then it does make you feel isolated. And that's what we're trying to do, is to get groups so that it's not woo-woo anymore. No. It's who we are.
Yes.
It's not a religion.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I totally agree with you. I was saying this the other day. I am not using that word woo-woo anymore.
It annoys me.
It annoys me, and it's disrespectful to who we are and what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
I
conditioning.
feel really
Yes.
strongly about that. So you are completely right.
Yes.
It's natural. It's who we are.
It is.
And we don't have to dress it up. And there are so many things where it's hidden and it's made to be special. And that is by people who think only they can do it. But the thing is, we all can.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like anything. The more you practice, the better
Absolutely.
you become.
Yeah.
But it's also living your truth. And we mentioned authenticity before. You have got to be your truthful, authentic self to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we take that one step further, we were talking about our authentic self. So if we take away all of that word, the word that must not be used now let's take all that pomp and ceremony. Let's take away all the trippings in our little crystal bowl that we're in our tent with, all of those things that people associate with it, and say, what are we actually doing?
Yeah.
What is it?
Connection.
And
connect and growing. And what are we connecting with?
Ourselves, our own spirit, and understanding who we are. And that's what the groups are about. First of all, in order to do anything spiritually, you've got to figure out about you.
Yeah.
And you have to build the confidence within you and realise just amazing you are. And that's every single person on this planet. They're amazing.
And it is so... Sorry to talk over you.
It's nothing now. Can I?
No, it's not. We squabble all the time.
Yeah.
It's wonderful when you see people grow. There was a lady in Circle last night who was talking to somebody else, and she was so shy and so quiet when she joined. And she was saying, I can do this and this. And they were like, wow. But she'd never talked about it before. But she had a T-shirt on that said about being her authentic self.
Yes.
And she wouldn't have worn that before.
Yeah.
So
it's lovely again, and it's lovely
just
that
great.
you see that and you love that, and that fulfills you. And there's two words at the moment which I absolutely love, and it's authentic self, and sovereignty. Our sovereignty. I love that word. I think it's as powerful as it is soft.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I love it.
That is lovely.
It's a lovely new word. Well, it's not a new word, but
to put with this.
Yeah.
Because if we did strip back everything else that is associated with this, everything has its place, doesn't it? And a ceremony can be a really powerful thing, but the connection with each other and then connecting in a safe space with spirit, it just doesn't get any better, really.
No, that feeling of connecting with people so you can relax and be yourself, is amazing. And I think it's incredible what you're doing. It really is, and I can really feel it off both of you.
Yeah.
What's your? I mean, you've been doing this for such a long time. What's your vision like? Moving forward, how do you want to expand? Or
it's simple actually, because we've both been doing in the past. We've done like the big sort of thing where you do theatres and I've been working with famous mediums, with people who've been on telly and stuff, and we've done that kind of thing in the past. And that's lovely, but it's not where we want to go.
No.
Where we want to go and what we want to do is to make this accessible for everybody.
Yes.
And we want everybody to get involved. And my vision for the future is people becoming generally understanding the spiritual selves and connecting to each other. That would be our vision, actually.
Yeah. And seeing other people working towards their own goals, and we've facilitated space to allow people to do that, and it is lovely to see them go off on their healing journey, doing their readings, because we need more of this. So instead of keeping it to ourselves, the joy is watching somebody else that you've nurtured grow.
Absolutely.
I feel like this should be, rolled out everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the NHS, in the corporate environments, in the schools.
It is starting to be.
It is.
I mean, one of the girls that we know that stayed with us because she's doing sound baths now, and she's brilliant. And she's only doing that because Sue invited her to our house and said, "You've got some sound baths, do a sound bath." And we got people to come, and now she's doing them herself. Well, another girl at the circle, she's got herself a job in the schools, and so she's invited her into schools, and she's doing sound baths for children that have got problems.
Oh, I love that.
And these children are
awesome.
actually responding to it, and of course she lets them have a play with the sound bowls and what have you, and she's loved. So it's facilitating the school one, and it's facilitating, so it is one thing happens from another.
It's a ripple.
It's a ripple.
It is a ripple.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a ripple.
And all we did was facilitate a space at one point, and it's gone off in that direction.
And that's it.
But the thing is, it comes back tenfold.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything that you put out there comes back, and it enriches your life in a different way than you think it's going to.
Yeah, we had a guest on last week, and he said the best way is to ask, how can I be a service to the community?
Yeah.
How can I be a service? And if just one person can connect with themselves and, with kindness and you just create that whole ripple, don't you? And it is happening. It is happening.
It is
very quick.
It is.
And we need it.
We
and
do.
Children need it, especially.
Yes.
If we could have something in school, some kind of well-being where they just sit and feel comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
Because children aren't comfortable with themselves now. And I'm also a hypnotherapist, and seeing small children, and when they're very small, it's just a meditation, but getting them to feel their power, it's amazing.
Yes.
And that could be done in schools. And it's all part of the same thing, because it's all us getting in touch with who we are. And we were lucky enough to grow up in loving families, very different. John lived in a city, I lived in the countryside and part of a tribe, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
But we had a loving background. And if you're not loved and secure as a child, you have to find that within yourself, and that is so hard.
Very hard, especially with all the conditioning and programming that society, puts on us at the moment. It is hard. So if we were to come to, or anybody were to come to a development workshop, what would they expect? What happens on
first of all, you're welcomed in, obviously.
Yes.
And then we just sit in a circle. Nobody's got a particular place within the circle. I'll just sit in whatever space is left, whatever chair's not being used, which is normally not the most comfortable ones because they go first. But and we just sit together, and then we start with a prayer. The same as, because I just believe that's a little bit of respect, and it's about bringing the right energies in. And some people would be a bit nervous about bringing in the negative energies. Well, we don't work with a negative energy at all, and so there's never any negativity in that sense. And so we always have that prayer to sort of safeguard make everybody feel comfortable, really.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we normally do a little talk, don't we?
You do.
Well, it's mainly me, but Sue does interject as well. And, of course. And she won't own that, but she does. And then Sue does a meditation, which she always does a talk down. And in fact, you've asked people if they just want music, and they always ask for a talk down.
Yeah.
And Sue makes them up as she goes.
Yeah.
She never refers to a book, and they're all different.
Yeah.
And so Spirit actually do the talk downs.
Yeah.
And then after that, it depends how big the group is. We'll do, maybe if it's a smaller group, we'll do an exercise, which we may have started before, because we like, when people are new, we like them to do a reading for somebody they don't know who they're reading.
Yes.
So they don't get anybody looking at them in judgment.
Yeah.
And they can say what they feel like, and they can let their own, and that starts them before they actually have to look at somebody and give them more of a one-to-one reading. But we get people working. we get them working, we get them doing something, because it's about empowerment.
And you've missed out one part, which is we always ask people what they'd like to get from the workshop.
Yeah.
Yes.
What they would like to get.
Important bit.
And then we can tailor some of the exercises.
Yeah.
But when we say we have exercises, we never have a running theme, because Spirit, through John, change it every time.
Yes.
We have never done a workshop where we've gone, we'll do this, this and this. It changes, and it always evolves with whoever's there.
Yeah.
Because Spirit come in and that can change. And apart from the prayer, the only thing we ask is respect for each other and respect for Spirit. We
For
have
yourselves.
and for yourself.
Yeah.
And we have no other rules. But when people come together, and it's wonderful when people don't know each other and they start talking, and it's like, well, I think that, and I haven't thought of it like that. And it's all our different ways, and there isn't one that's wrong and one that's right. There is no PowerPoint presentation for working with Spirit.
No.
Yeah. It's
not
just
at all.
No.
That lovely moment. Go on. You go.
With mediumship, for people that are listening, what advice could you give to people when they're looking to go to a medium?
Well, the first thing you've got to be skeptical, because that's fine. Because at the end of the day, you want somebody to tell you something to give you proof. Because I've seen some and I don't ever like talking in a negative way about other mediums, because I think there's enough people knocking us without knocking each other. So I think we should be supporting each other. But you do see some mediums who kind of, I feel they work on a surface level, and they tend to just give like sort of the same kind of pattern every time, the same kind of words. We all work in a certain way.
Can you give us an example?
Well,
that
yeah.
Would be?
Well, somebody who's kind of saying, I've got a guide with you, and there's a Native American guide I can see very clearly, and they're there with you. But then they don't give any other evidence, maybe the name, like, I don't know, running bears with you. And, and we're living in, you're going to the zoo tomorrow.
Yeah.
But basically, we don't see bears very often. And a lot of us, like me, I don't like to run, because people do. But the thing is, it's got no proof. It's got no relevance. It's very nice. You could say that, and I'm quite happy for people to bring through guides, because guides can be an indication of where that person is in life. With me, if I had a Native American guide for somebody, what I would be thinking, your life's in a bit of a mess, because Native American guides are the best for sorting stuff out.
And they're tough.
And they're tough.
They?
And they're not easy to work with, because what
Really?
they do, they strip everything back, and you get authenticity with them, because you're not allowed to lie. So they strip away all the lies and illusions. So if somebody comes along and strips away all the lies and illusions about yourself, and you're left with yourself, that's quite scary at first. It's a big adjustment.
That's made
Oh,
me
wow,
go.
that's really
So whenever a Native American
Yeah.
comes through, I'd be saying straight away, there's a Native American guide with you, but you're in lots of trouble. And then I'd be asking them what the problems are, whether it's to do with their home, whether it's to do with the relationship, whether it's to do with work, whether it's all those things, which it often can be, because it's a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
And then I'd ask them I'd want to have answers then. I'd want to be asking how we can sort this out, because you don't want to leave anybody with just a load of rubbish that they already had to begin with when they walked into the door. When people come in for a reading, they come in with baggage. They want to walk out feeling free and a little bit like they've got a plan.
So I would, going back to your question, because John's just rambled on a little.
I like how you rein each other in.
Craig, isn't it?
I would do some research.
Yeah.
And see where you're drawn. And if you can't do that in person, if you're not at a spiritual fair or something, if you were at a spiritual fair, we would always recommend that you walk round and see where you're drawn.
Yeah, why not?
But if you can't do that, if you've got to go online, go through some websites, see how you feel when you read about that person, or the best thing ever. recommendation.
Yeah, that's the best way.
For everything.
We were talking in the car, because I think out of all the modalities out there, doing mediumship and giving readings, I think is the most challenging, because managing people's expectations. You know, you say to someone, oh, how was that reading? Oh, well, they were crap. Well, why was that? Well, they didn't tell me X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So I think it's really, I mean, how do you manage people's expectations?
Yeah, I think the medium has to explain at the beginning what they're going to do, what to expect from it. And I always do that. I spend a bit of time, even if somebody's had plenty of readings, if they haven't, I might go a little bit more in depth with what it's about. But I always give them an explanation at the beginning. And one of the things I ask them, I always say is, obviously, you're allowed to ask questions. I tell everybody, at the end of the day, you're allowed to ask questions. Just don't ask any to begin with. Wait until we've said some stuff, and then you'll know what to ask, because you know what we've talked about. There might be things coming through that you was going to ask that might be covered before you ask, which is lovely. There might be something we don't mention, which if we don't, you can ask. And also, if there's a particular spirit you want to talk to, and this is where some mediums struggle, is a particular person you want to talk to, then if they don't come through, that's fine, ask for them. Because I don't mind if somebody asks. You can have 10 different family members, but you might want the 11th. And if you want the 11th, don't go away disappointed because they didn't come through. Ask for them, and I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, wow.
Because at the end of the day, I want people to go away feeling satisfied. It doesn't always work, because some people don't ask you enough, and then you think they're okay because you ask. Because I always say, is there any questions? Because if they haven't asked me one, I'll ask them if there is. And often spirits will tell me a question, so they'll give me something to tell them anyway.
Yeah.
And that often happens.
Yeah.
But if somebody goes away not interacting in that way, then they won't have the best experience.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they've got to tell you nothing, and that's not necessarily a good thing either. I think, you have got to interact. It's called communication.
Yeah.
You can't do it on your own.
But some sitters do want to sit there literally with their arms folded and I'm giving you nothing.
You've done that.
As if...
I did do that.
Yeah.
But why did you do that?
I don't know.
Did you think that the medium was going to read you?
I think what it was, if I'm honest, she started with something which was completely off key. Completely off key.
You lost confidence.
And I lost confidence.
So
and
it was a bit of protection.
I had 2 friends waiting outside who probably could have done a better job in those 5 minutes. Now, that might sound a bit arrogant of me to say that,
because
but that's
not all
what came into my head.
Are what you want.
And so I think I shut off, if I'm honest. I think my heckles went up, my arms crossed, and I was, which is probably not fair, because the other 2 had a really good reading, didn't you? Yeah, they did. They did both have a really, bob on reading. So,
but that's an energy thing, and perhaps your energy just didn't match with that medium.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Because we don't all like. Nobody likes everybody.
Yeah,
it's like trying to find a hairdresser. I always say, trying to find a reader.
Yeah. It is.
Well,
it is.
It's as important.
The thing is, it can be the same for the medium as well.
Yeah.
They might not connect with you.
Yes.
I've often, when I'm doing readings, once I get this lovely connection that comes through from spirit that kind of makes me feel like they're talking through me, I fall in love with whoever I'm reading. It can be a man or woman, it doesn't matter, any age, because I feel the love coming through from the spirit for them.
That's such
and
a nice
and it becomes
thing
this
to
lovely
say.
connection that I thought, for that time, I thought, sometimes people walk in, I went, oh my God, I'm not fancying this reading, because they walk in and they look like, but then it's very often different to what you think.
Yeah.
Once you give it a chance to come through and the person softens and what have you, and when you were saying with your arms crossed and all that and shutting down, that's understandable, because you have got to be, like I said at the beginning, you've got that medium has got to give you some proof. If they don't give you some proof, they've got to win you over, in a sense. And that has to happen. And once you've won somebody over, then they're more susceptible to what you're going to say. Not that but they're more open to the fact that you're going to give them something good, and then the channel becomes open, and then the reading becomes better.
Yeah.
I think people are always wanting, you know, what was the name of my nan?
Yeah.
You know, where did I used to live? All those really specific
Specific
Yeah,
things.
and I think when you're looking for something specific, you miss the nuance of everything else, which can be a lot more important, because when you go for a reading, what you want and what you need will be very different.
Yes,
And
that's-
spirit, you know, your grandmother, your mother, you know, will be telling you how it is, not how you want to hear it necessarily, because they don't alter.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? So you must come up, or you must have come up over the years against skeptics,
All the while.
especially if it was. So what do you say to them? Because I have a mother. Are you listening, Mum? At home, who is the biggest skeptic, to the point where we all had once, many years ago, a wonderful reading, and my mum came out from this lady and she said, she was rubbish. She told me she couldn't connect with me. And I thought, well, of course they can't, because my mum went in and went, chkong, 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 you know, and padlocks and everything. And she was...
So protected.
Yeah, so protected. So what do you say to that? You know, what's the answer to
Basically, if somebody doesn't want to connect, you know, in a very short time.
Yeah.
And I always put people at their ease, and I always are friendly with them, and I try to get them. So we have a bit of a laugh, and we try to break down a few of those sort of barriers to begin
Because
with.
sometimes it's nerves, isn't it?
Sometimes it's nerves,
Yeah.
and we get into that. But if I get somebody who I feel I can't connect with, I will tell them. I'll tell them, you know, this ain't working. I'm not going to
Yeah.
waste your time. Don't waste
Yeah.
mine. And I don't charge them.
Yeah.
And I just say, well, you know, when go to somebody else, or don't, or you know, because the thing is, if somebody is going to be that disconnected, you can't do anything about it. I remember I gave a woman a reading many years ago, and there were so many specifics, and I thought, this is going really well. And she was the third one of a group that I'd done. The other two, brilliant, no problem. And then she turned around and says, well, if you could tell me what was in my bedroom in a box, what's inside the box, I'll believe you. And it was her mum that was talking to me, and I'd been giving her specifics about her mum, which she agreed, and she said, that's right. And then she turned around after 15, 20 minutes of this reading and said, can you tell me what was in this box? And straight away, I shut down.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? If that, I'm not doing this, I'm not carrying on. It's not that I couldn't have done it, but I thought, how disrespectful to your mum.
Yeah.
You know, because if she'd have wanted to tell you that, she'd have told you, and they often do. I mean, I said to one woman the other day, well, they're all young to me these days. Probably 40, but to me she was a young girl. And I just said the word oranges. I just saw an orange, and she burst into tears, and she said, I asked my, I don't know if it was her dad or granddad, to give me oranges. On my way here, I said, mention oranges, and I know it's you. And that's all I had to say.
Oh.
And because spirit will tell you if they need you to say something as specific and simple as that.
Yeah.
And that's
what. Oh God, what was I going to say then? I lost my train of thought. What are your thoughts on interfering energies in terms of? I had this conversation with a friend of mine about when people are channeling. I mean, are we talking about the same thing, channeling or mediumship? Is there such thing as is there such thing as interfering energies? So what's coming through the channel is actually not what they're channeling. Is there any signs of that, or what are your thoughts?
I've never really had that, to be honest. I've had several people talking at the same time, several different people telling me things like different connections, like a mum from one side, a grandmother from the other. And sometimes they won't always agree, because they don't have the same point of view. And I've had to explain both points of view, because who's right, I don't know. So but what you're saying is like a negative energy, I think,
energies,
coming through and interfering. I've never really had a negative energy, and I go to people's houses that have had trouble. But the negative energy I've felt have been the people living there, not the spirits. And I've had to change their energy through the spirits. I'm not saying there aren't negative, because I believe in a balance, negative, yin yang, and all that. So I do know there's negative energies within us as well as positive. We're all negative and positive. Yeah. So I do believe it, but I've never actually come across it personally in that way.
A question that somebody brought up to me that I never really. I just wanted to.
Interesting.
I've never really had that because I've never. Well, I think it's because when you build a strong connection to spirit, the negative energies are always weaker than the positive energies, because positive energy is love. Fundamentally, and love is more powerful than anything. It's like if you go into a room and it's completely dark, it feels negative because our senses are switched down, we feel vulnerable, so we're scared. But if you get the weakest torch, that's the battery's almost gone, it'll cut through that light. And so the weakest love energy is stronger than the weakest the strongest dark energy.
I like that. That's really lovely.
Isn't it?
So to me, negative energy is very, it's only strong when and that's what it does. It makes us think it's strong. It scares us, which gives it power. It makes us feel negative, which gives it power. And basically, we enforce it then. Our energy actually, we think that's powerful. Yeah. But it's actually not.
It is ours, isn't it? That gives it the
energy. You splash a bit of love you splash a bit of love into anything. Love will always win.
Changes.
We've never run a circle or a workshop or a retreat where there's been negative energy, and we've run hundreds over the years, because we always say any negative energy that's coming in is what somebody is bringing with them.
Yes.
And we can get rid of that.
You can.
Because we always start with love and healing in any circle.
Yeah.
We have an opening prayer and then we send love and healing around the group.
Yeah. It's your intention.
It is, isn't it?
Everything is down
Some
to
people
intention.
love the negative, that's the trouble.
Yeah.
Some people love it because it's dark and it's
they
exciting.
Think it's more powerful.
And I think it is, but actually it's very weak and powerless because...
it's not sustainable either.
No, it's not sustainable. You have to keep feeding it. You have to keep feeding it with love. It grows, doesn't it, naturally?
It does.
Yeah.
I've started over about the last month, if I'm in an environment where I can feel the energy is changing or somebody's energies, I'll say, do you want a hug?
Yeah, exactly.
And that can or can't. But, if it can't, then I'll just walk away from it. But 9 times out of 10,
people will say
change.
Yes,
it changes.
It does change.
Well, your energy, both of yours energy is very positive, and I would imagine there's very few people that wouldn't respond to your energies because you would change energy. You've got that ability.
That's
You've
nice.
got that
Thank
power.
You.
And what's better than a hug?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've got all the men that come to the circle hugging now.
Yeah.
You've got my dad hugging.
I even got your dad hugging.
My dad.
And he's a farmer, so
he's not a hugger, but you've got him hugging.
There's a lot of science behind hugging.
Yeah, there is a lot of science.
Yeah.
So, just one last question that I'm really we've got to ask. So when we're connecting with spirit, and for us four here, it's a beautiful thing. What are the ways that you can connect the clairs? Because I always get really confused about
they
this.
So
what are the ways that you can connect, or that people connect?
Okay, well, you connect anyway, but I'll go further. Basically, and I'm gonna make them very simple.
Yes.
Because to me it's too complicated and it confuses, which is what you're talking about. Clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, it's all French for some reason. It's about seeing spirit, but it's not necessarily seeing a physical spirit, although that does happen, because I believe that's a projection. It's through your mind, so it's imagination. If you've got an imagination, you got clairvoyance. It's what you can see in your mind's eye. It's what is put into your mind. That's clairvoyance. Clairsentience, which is woman's intuition in many ways, is sensing the energies. It's sensing whether something's good or bad. I call it the emojis when I'm working. Because it's it's just knowing the energy, whether it's good, bad or indifferent, how you feel. And that's very important. It's probably the most important one in a sense, and it's the most difficult one, because it's knowing that that's not your energy.
Yeah.
And it's realising once you do a reading, you no longer exist in a sense. So any pains and that you're picking up now are not yours. And it's about giving off those pains. If you've got pains in your leg, you've got to say it. Some people say, I've got nothing. And I'll say, you haven't, because that's something. Getting nothing's a message. If you've got nothing with somebody, you just tell them, are you feeling blocked? Or are you having trouble at the moment? Because I'm feeling like a nothingness with you. And straight away, you'll get something else then.
Really?
Because that's the answer. That's what you... So there's nothing, there's nothing.
And it's trusting.
And it's trusting.
It's trust.
And the hearing, that's just words coming into your mouth. Or some people do actually...
Physically hear.
You can physically hear, but you can kind of sense a word. And that's difficult, but it's just a word pops into your mind.
Yeah.
And that's clairaudience. So it's all about because what spirit do, they use you in every form. You've got all the ability. It's just a matter of realising this is just a different way of doing it. It's like when you're sleeping and you're dreaming. How do you manifest all that?
Yeah.
That's what a reading is. A reading is a dream or a story. It's allowing somebody else to give you that, which is the spirit you're talking to, which is their loved ones, allowing you to do that. And the other important thing is, when we talk about we can manifest any spirit that you want that's normally that's a family member, the medium doesn't do that. The medium doesn't manifest the spirit. The person having the reading does. They come with you. So all we have to do is talk to the spirits with you. We don't have to manifest them or work hard. I've got to get your mum now. Your mum's here because she's with you or because you brought her. And when you leave, she goes with you. She doesn't stop with... Why would she stop with a strange person who she's never met before or who she hasn't met very often? She'll stay with the person she loves. So all the medium does is talk to the people you bring through.
Yeah.
So you're part of the process. You're actually bringing the spirits through for the medium to talk to.
Which is wonderful, because there's a really cute little story when we were getting ready to go on stage somewhere, I think it was in the lakes or somewhere, and the guy was setting up the cameras and he went, oh, my screen's gone faulty, it's all like a snowstorm. And John went, no, it's all the spirits coming in.
They're all the orbs.
He said it's all the orbs.
Oh my word, there we go. Wow. Goosey.
Because they knew who was,
and he said, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, they knew who was coming.
He said, I've never seen that before. I said, no, that's what it is, the orbs. It's everybody coming waiting to have a reading or to help us read.
Yeah. It's like out of is it Ghost with Patrick Swayze, and they're all waiting in the waiting room with Whoopi. Do you remember the scene?
Yeah. Because they know.
Yeah.
It's just believing in something much bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's simple. Simplify it. That's what I always say, simplify it. Everything's the same. It's like I went to somebody's house the other day, I'd had trouble, and a book had fallen off, and I said, did you read the book? No. Do you know which one it is? And they pointed it to me, and I explained. I said, well, the answer's in the book. It wasn't the book falling. It was the fact that the book had fallen. Read the book. Read what they're getting. They're bringing a message. It's not just throwing things randomly about. There's always a message.
That makes complete sense.
Everything they do
doesn't it?
has got a message. It's looking for the message, looking into what they've done. There's a reason they've done it. So if it's a book, it's fantastic. You've got words to look at.
Yeah.
So that's one of the best things to do, really.
Yeah.
Throw a book off the shelf and your message will be in that book.
Yeah.
I love how just simple that is.
Yeah.
We complicate
Well,
things so much.
We complicate everything, and we
Well,
make it so much harder.
I've told this story a lot of times because it's a good one. A lady was in circle once. She says, I keep seeing, when I look to the side, I keep seeing her hand and just her arm, just cut off its thing. I can't understand it. I keep saying, looking, the arm, the hand's there, and then it disappears. What do you think that is? I said, they're giving you an hand. And she went, oh, yeah.
Just a helping hand.
This is, I suppose isn't it being able to interpret this? It's like, do you know what's just popped into my mind? That game on television where, is it catchphrase?
Catchphrase,
Yeah.
Say what you see.
Where you get like
Say
a
what
little
you see.
snippets, which my husband's really good at, and I'm terrible.
Yeah, that's all it
So
is.
keep it simple.
And they give you things you understand because they know our level of understanding based on what we've done before.
Yeah.
You know, and they use that. So they show us things we understand.
Yeah, they use our individuality. That's why you're never going to get two mediums the same. And that's what we always say to people. They will use you and all of your specialness because they know you. So that's what they're going to use.
Yeah.
You know, what I love is when Spirit make you say a word that you don't normally use or you're not quite sure of, because then it's like, that's come straight through, you know. But mostly it is what we know.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes that can be something that's a memory to us or something that they're just picking to just pop into that place.
Yeah.
Wow. What an absolute joy it has been to talk to you both. Our time slot isn't enough.
No.
So
you have to come back.
We will do.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it beautiful? It's absolutely beautiful. So where can people find you? Kerry will tell you where it'll be because she's the good admin person. She fixes and sorts and organises. And but just you know, for now, for on the where can people find you if they want to come to your development?
On Facebook, we're both on Facebook. Yeah. Our website. I think that's about it. Really, we're not very. Yeah, John at John Cook Medium. John at John Cook Medium.
.co.uk.
Oh, there you go. Not that he ever uses it. Yeah, and on Facebook.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Or they
so
could text us with the phone number as well.
I don't want to put the phone number. Well, the phone number's out there, but
yeah.
We're not hidden away in a cupboard.
No.
We also do retreats as well.
Fabulous.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We've done 20 of them now.
Have you?
All in Landud now.
Oh wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where we get a group of people together and they're by the sea and it's lovely, and we spend the weekend working with Spirit and eating together and having a laugh.
Oh, I like that.
That's
idea.
lovely.
It literally is a retreat from real life and coming back together and having more of what we were talking about before, genuinely connecting.
Yes.
And making friends.
Yeah.
Because people go away exchanging Facebook things and they become friends for whatever, and they walk around the town together as well.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. It's bringing people together.
I think it's amazing what you're doing, and it's such a pleasure to have you on. It really is.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure
keep
to be
doing the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, for watching a fantastic episode with Sue and John. So my question to you is, have you felt Spirit draw close to you? Have you ever wondered what it's like to connect with your loved ones? So, have a think about that one. Thank you so much for watching once again, and please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Come on, shifters, get subscribing.